Broadcasting live from Cryptic Spires, but a different one than last time. This is TapTapConcede. Welcome, everybody, to TapTapConcede. My name is Graham. Joining me is Cameron and Nelson.
Also here.
Yeah. And today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Double Masters. We're going to be talking a little bit about Baldur's Gate Alchemy Horizons, I think is the full name of the set. And we're going to be talking a bit about how we're brought to you by Card Kingdom. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. Please go buy your cards there. You can order yourself some Double Masters or some Commander Legends that's not Alchemy, which I understand is a lot of fun to play. Actually, I've heard Double Masters is pretty sweet as well, like really fun to play, and you can play it digitally on one of the apps. We'll talk about that in a second. Also, of course, this show and everything that we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. So at time of recording, last weekend, we did the Double Masters pre-release. And if you missed it, you can check out the VOD. It's on this very YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening, it's on our YouTube channel /LRRMTG. And all three of us can talk about how Nelson got to play it. How was that?
Yeah, it looked sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. The draft format, like the draft itself, was like the goofiest, loosest draft. Like super soft birthday, like softest draft ever, not in terms of like the skill of the players, but the attitude around the table for that draft.
Well, because I mean it's the PPR, so there's a lot of just goofball table talk.
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly. Yeah, and like that's not a criticism. It's just like we did a PPR draft live
for
the first time.
Yeah,
right?
that was fun.
Even though our PPR drafts before have also been pretty loof. We're gonna call them loof now. Loose and relaxed. They were edited, because the only other one we did was for first Double Masters, right? The draft in the woods.
Yeah.
Or no, we also did a Commander Legends draft too.
Yes.
Yes.
Was
in
that
the
a
theater.
PPR or was that a not PPR? That theater draft.
No, yeah, that was a PPR. Yeah.
Okay, so both of those though were recorded.
Yeah.
And this one was live. So at one point during the draft portion, I was like, cool, I think we got bingo on all the things you're not really allowed to do in draft.
Right.
But
like, talk about your picks, show people your picks.
Yeah. Talk about what picks like should happen or like recommend picks to people.
Yeah.
Or just just all these different kinds of chitter chatter. Oh, also just like more than once. We were just like, oh, actually not that one. Like take a card from your stack, put it back in, get the other one.
It was really funny watching, because again, we had the mobile cameras that James and Serge were piloting that were looking over the shoulders of Talia and Cedric. And it was funny watching Cedric, who obviously has done drafting at like GP Day 2s and stuff before, clearly, because the first thing he did was open his pack, and before looking at any of the cards, counting them to make sure that there was 15 cards in the pack, and going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the thing that they make you do at professional level Day 2 events. Right. And I was just like, yes, you do not need to do that here, dude.
Yeah, drafters, you have 90 seconds to make your pick.
Yeah. Right. Oh God, it's so stressful.
I don't know, 14 cards to your left. Draft.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously it was a very chill draft. That was totally fine. In terms of the experience of the draft, I still hadn't really looked at the entire spoiler or done any intense strategy, research. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I wanted to make sure I had fun, and so I tried to have a relaxed attitude about it. My first two picks were Mana Drain and Bloodbraid Elf, which, while not a combo, could still go in the same deck together. There's at least a tiny bit of inherent synergy there. Yeah, if you cascade into your Mana Drain, at least next turn you can like cast your Eldrazi, right?
Yeah.
Although you get your mana in the post-combat main phase if you're, usually casting your Bloodbraid Elf pre-combat hoping to attack. So
now, as a reminder, because this came up at the draft as well, and we had frankly a struggle trying to make sure that we knew that we were doing this correctly, because the box comes with a little card on it that's like, hey, here's how to draft it, here are the draft archetypes and everything, and nowhere on it does it say, by the way, your first pick out of each pack, you take 2 cards.
Oh yeah, that was our last minute thing, and I meant to bring it up in the player meeting, but I forgot. But then someone thought of it at the table before the PBR started.
But it doesn't say that on the hey, here's how to draft Double Masters, which is I think a tremendous oversight.
It also doesn't say it in the FAQ, the judge rules. It only says it in the product description article. You have to find the spoiler release note, not release notes, but the ad on Wizards for Double Masters, and then it tells you.
So when you say your first 2 picks, you mean out of
one pack,
your first your first pick was Bloodbraid Elf and Mana Drain out of the same pack.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird.
And then I
interesting duo of cards there.
And then I shortly after that had the choice of committing to Temur or grabbing Mikaeus the Lunarch.
Ooh.
And I think there had already been like a Lightning Helix I had passed out of my pack with the Bloodbraid Elf or something. So I did give the Mikaeus to Wheeler and tried to like focus up on being like either a ramp deck that might end up being banned. So like Mikaeus, it turns out I was 4-color, so I could have used the Mikaeus, but at the time I was trying to like hedge my bets in the first pack. So Wheeler ends up getting the Mikaeus, and I won't spoil the bonus rounds, but I do have to fight Wheeler eventually. Check out the bonus rounds if you haven't yet. But yeah, then I had a pretty good time, like picking up lots of fixing. Like I picked up the Cryptic Spires and the Bounce Lands pretty high. Like there was a few of us, I think, that were more committed to getting the color fixing.
I mean, there's a Cryptic Spires in every pack, so there's so many going around potentially.
Yeah, so theoretically everyone should get 3, but my deck had 5. So
some people just didn't want them.
Yeah, exactly. Some people are playing fast 2-color decks and didn't need that many of them. But yeah, I mean, before you know what you're doing, this is just such a good card because you know it'll play in any deck basically.
Yeah.
You don't have to, since you don't have to commit to which colors it's fixing you for.
I feel like
the
the sealed format for this has to be off the rails because you
Probably
just
a lot
get
of 5-color.
you just get 6 Cryptic Spires, and there's other fixing, right? There's all the Ravnica Bounce
Yep.
Lands, so you
There's
get
Rampant
you
Growth,
at
too.
least
Yep.
get 6 Cryptic Spires.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild.
I believe there's at least one artifact that fixes for colors too. I can't remember which one it was, but maybe Wayfinder's Bauble is in it, something like that.
Yes.
Does that
Yeah.
sound right?
Or Traveler's Amulet?
One of those. Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it's the Wayfarers. I think it's the Wayfarers bauble.
Okay.
Wayfarers.
Anyways, yeah, the mana is pretty good.
Bubble.
You can get into 5-color fairly easily in draft
You
or
were
steel.
which
probably.
color were you not playing?
I didn't play black.
Okay.
I didn't pick up anything that was like truly pushed me into black. There was always a like blue white or green blue card that was more exciting. And then I had, I'm trying to remember now. Sorry, one other important red card besides the Bloodbraid Elf. Oh yeah, I had a Scab Clan Giant. So some of my lines of play involved momentary blinking my Scab Clan Giant, which is kind of this hilarious thing. You get to find out which creature is chosen at random before the fight happens. So if it does like target their 6/6, you can blink it and be like, okay, no. Let's roll those dice again.
Scab Clan Giant, it's 4 red-green for a 4/5 giant warrior. When it enters the battlefield, it fights target creature and opponent controls chosen at random. Okay. So you're saying it chooses it before that fight resolves.
Yeah, because you have to place, you have to make your choices before the
Trigger goes on the stack.
Trigger goes on the stack, yeah. So you have to make a target, right?
So if it targets something that would
a target is before it gets placed.
So if it targets a creature that would kill it, then you go like, no, hang on, let's try that again and blink it.
We can blink it. Yeah, I mean obviously that's 8
really
or
funny.
10 mana or whatever, but
Still.
that was what my deck was doing. It was putting a bunch of lands into play.
Nice.
So yeah, I had a good time. I got to play against Joey in round 1. So I was in the first match of the PPR, and we had a really good game 1. He was playing like a green-black kind of graveyard deck, and he got to do some stuff, and I got to do some stuff, and eventually I kind of drew one more spell than he did. And then game 2, unfortunately, he was like stuck on lands. We both kept really bad hands, actually, game 2. I kept a super greedy, like do nothing until turn 6 hand, like 5 lands, 2 6-drops, but on the draw, and I'm like, well, I'll probably draw something by turn 3.
Was this the game where you just kept going land go back and forth?
Yeah, we kept going land go back and forth. He had mulled to 6 and was like missing a color. I think he was Abzan, not
oh, right.
and so he was like missing a color, and so like the first play of the game was like my
6-drop,
my like 5/7 spider, whatever she's called, Arachnus Spinner, I think.
Yeah.
So then it's like turn 6 yet, and he hasn't done anything yet, and it's like, well, I have a lot of high drops in my deck. I'm just gonna flop them all now.
I seem to remember Joey might have kept the hand thinking that he had a different Cryptic Spires in hand.
Oh yeah, it's possible.
Right.
I will say
that can be a danger.
Yeah. Make sure you mark those clearly.
As far as Cryptic Spires go, it's like, yeah, there are some feel bads occasionally where, you can't see your opponent's Cryptic Spires very easily from your side of the board, or, you have to just be careful and remember, like, that you have to look on the bottom or look at however you've marked them. James, I think it suggested, like, it would have been nice if they were scratch and sniffs before or whatever, or scratch
Like scratch offs?
And
It's tough to change between games.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that one's kind of hard to change between games. I wouldn't mind if there was some kind of... we've just been spoiled with Arena, like showing us the two colors of our lands, even when there's some weird modal thing like this, or it's like a you choose Thriving Bluff kind of thing. It's like they always kind of just give you a gold border, or it's just been a lot easier to see which colors you have on Arena. And so coming back, it's to paper Double Masters. You just have to be careful about that.
Kenji was complaining. This is like the smallest, most minor nitpick about Cryptic Spires, but you can draft Double Masters on Magic Online, not on Arena, but you can draft it on Magic Online.
And that's been the case since like even before the PPR, right, or something? Wasn't
it came out like
Wednesday,
on like
maybe?
Wednesday before the PPR, which
So
was
weird.
a surprise to me. I tell you what. But anyway, the Cryptic Spires. So on Magic Online, when you tap a land that taps for multiple colors for mana, you click on it, and then there's a little pop-up menu, and then you pick which color. Or you can hold down by default the M key on your keyboard and just click once, and it will tap automatically for whichever color is like listed first or to the left or whatever on the card. It might be in Wooburg order. It might be depending on the way it's printed on the card, which might also be in Wooburg order, I think. But it'll depend on the thing. And he was like, "This Cryptic Spires is these two colors, and it taps for this one on the left when I click it. But this Cryptic Spires is these two colors, and it taps for the rightmost color, and it costs me like half a second every time." It's just because he just likes to be like, So he was complaining. He admitted it's a very minor nitpick, but he's like, it's like literally unplayable, right?
Right.
Just like, why is it this way for this Cryptic Spires, but this way for this other Cryptic Spires?
I guess, is that the difference between UI and UX?
Probably.
UI, very consistent. UX, this feels weird.
We logged into Arena yesterday for the Magic stream, and because it was a big update and the seasonal thing had changed and a bunch of cards got banned or whatever, it did the thing where it's like at the top it said seasonal rankings, and then your outgoing seasonal ranking like shield images were there behind all the cards that recently that you were receiving. We were receiving different versions of cards from all the alchemy rebalancing. But then under those cards, it said like 4X because you got like 4 of those cards, and the 4X was behind the seasonal ranking shields. So it was just a user interface nightmare on booting up Arena after the update, and that's not atypical.
Just update spaghetti.
Yeah, it was just a big old mess. That said, we played some. Just because it felt like a decent segue, unless we want to talk about Double Master some more.
Yeah, no, the rest of I could just say like I finished my match and then I got a break to go home to my dog, and then I came back and did judging, and it was really smooth. Like our guests were great, and this set, like being a reprint set, there wasn't too much confusion about what any of the cards do. So for the judges, it was like pretty straightforward. So I had a good time. I look forward to playing this set again. The draft decks and the archetypes are very cool and fun, and like the new art treatments look fantastic in front of you in paper, and so it's like a good cube.
Yeah, that's the impression that I've been getting. Yeah.
The pack that Cedric and I opened had the Azorius Witch from from Shadowmoor.
Pay 4 and blink.
Yeah, and I was just in love with the set at that point.
Nice. Also, there's Mardu Sacrifice if you want to do that. Yeah.
There's a whole deck for that. I've watched Kenji do a couple drafts, and he's said that it's a super fun format to draft. It does feel kind of like a cube, but then you can get more than one of a given card. And I've seen him do just 4-color nonsense. I've seen like some of his opponents do the Mardu Sacrifice deck. That seems pretty sweet as well. The Blink deck seems cool. It looks fun.
This is probably as good a time as any to admit that I was drafting in your seat, and like there was, I want to say, second pick, or maybe it was in the same pack as the Bloodbird Elf and the Mana Drain, a Matthias Bloodseeker, so like a rare Mardu colored creature,
right?
And also, I want to say it's called Fiend Artist. Maybe that's not right. A black and a red uncommon from Return to Ravnica that has like at the beginning of your turn or the beginning of your post-combat main phase, maybe, or your upkeep, you can pay 1 and sacrifice a creature to deal 2 damage.
Oh, that guy.
Sacrifice outlet.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
Fireblade artist.
Yeah, Fireblade artist.
I had the F right, and artist was correct. So there's this and Matthias, which is like a gold or a 3-color Mardu colored 3/3 rare creature that's like a legend that has an ability, or 2 abilities.
Mathis,
Fiend Seeker.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's sort of like this, like very clearly, like they tabled, and it was like, okay, Nelly, you grabbed some other stuff, but Mardu was very open, and I was just like, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to take another Cryptic Spiral. I'm sort of like, eventually I'm going to have to admit to Cameron that this happened.
I mean, you also opened a Mana Drain, which I think I would have been hard-pressed to pass. But can you imagine getting past Mana Drain in Pack 1 and knowing that the person to your right is sending you the clearest message imaginable?
Right, yeah, that definitely would have been one of those.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in a high-level big prizes situation, you can maybe rest assured that your neighbor is playing blue. If you pass them the Mana Drain, then you've got like knowledge of the table a little bit that you can work with.
Yeah, that you can collaborate with the person to your right.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to get, because you're on Paper Fight.
I am.
So by the time that you're seeing this, Cameron and I will have had an opportunity to draft some Double Masters on the Friday Night Paper Fight, and so that VOD will be up on the channel potentially by the time you see this, or later today. But there will be the 2 bonus rounds that Nelson mentioned with the decks from the PPR. It's Ben versus Kathleen and Nelson
Wheeler.
versus Wheeler.
Yeah.
So you should check those out, because those are going up at time of you hearing this past weekend. So
Nice.
go check those out. But yeah, so the other recent release in the torrent of releases is the Arena version, kind of Commander Legends, or a way to get some of the Commander Legends cards kinda onto Arena. So you remember that originally Baldur's Gate Alchemy Horizons was... Nelson just smacked the microphone for those wondering what that noise was. Baldur's Gate Alchemy Horizons was originally sort of explained in marketing copy as like featuring cards from Commander Legends Baldur's Gate, or Battle for Baldur's Gate, but there'd be other stuff. And then that sort of changed to cards like thematically inspired by, or something like that.
Right.
You know, and everybody was like, what does that mean? So what that means in practice is there's a bunch of reprints from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. So there's a bunch of AFR cards that are reprinted unchanged. And I want to say every card from Commander Legends Baldur's Gate that is on Arena is different.
Yeah.
And it's more than a little confusing if you're looking at both of them.
But wait for it. They're different, but has the same art.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, did we talk about this 2 weeks ago?
It's the same art.
We sure meant to.
Sometimes it's the same or similar names,
Right.
but sometimes
It
it's
might be
not.
the same character. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like the mechanics might be thematically related to one another.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So here's an example.
They're a thief.
In Commander Legends, you have Myriad, right? That shows up a lot. So maybe, James, could you bring up what's it? The Tabaxi Toucaneers? Rip to the word Toucaneers, by the way. This is great. So the Tabaxi Toucaneers, they're a cat ranger that flies. And so it's 4 and a white for a 3/2 flying cat ranger with Myriad. So Myriad is the ability that whenever it attacks, for each opponent other than the defending player, you make a token, and it's also attacking them, right? So it's like, I attack you, but also you and you get attacked by this same creature. Those tokens go away at the end of combat. So on Arena, this card is the same art. It's still a cat ranger. It's called... I can't even remember what it's called. It's something totally different. It's 4 white for a 3/4 flyer with a new ability that only would work on Arena called Double Team. So basically every instance of Myriad, all those cards are in this set, but Myriad has been replaced with Double Team. And what that means is when you attack with this creature, you conjure and I'll remind you what conjure means in a second, a copy of that card to your hand, and then both instances of the card lose double team. Ranger Squadron, it's called. So conjure means that you create a card. It is functionally a card. If you discard it, it goes to the graveyard. If it, it can be killed or exiled. It can be bounced, returned to hand. It's not a token. You're adding an additional card, and then both of them lose double team. So you don't just keep doing that forever. Double team also is whenever a non-token creature with double team attacks. So you can't play a creature with double team, copy it with a token making effect, and then attack and get a copy. It doesn't work if it's a token. That's part of the rules text for double team. So basically all the cards from CLB with Myriad are in this set, but with double team, but with the same art, but different stats and different names. And so that's odd. I'm trying to think of what other stuff they've added. The gates all have slightly different names.
Why?
So I don't know, because they're different cards, right? So like it's like the Black Dragon Gate, and then like the Dragon's Black Gate or something like yeah. So Black Dragon Gate. This is the one that's in.
This is a paper card.
Yeah, this is the paper card.
Yeah.
It enters tapped. It's like the thriving whatevers, right? It taps for black. You can choose another color, and then it also taps for that color other than black. On Arena, Gate of the Black Dragon. It's a swamp gate. It enters taps for black, and then it has this ability. There's a cycle. All 5 of them have this same ability. 3 and a colored mana, and tap. Seek a non-land card. Activate only once.
Only once, period.
Only once in the game can you activate it. And Seek, as a reminder, is you get a random card out of your deck that fits the criteria. So in this case, you get a non-land card.
To your hand.
To your hand. Also, Seek does not inherently shuffle. Some cards that Seek also shuffle, but Seek does not necessarily shuffle. So if you scryed and you know the top card of your library, this will not mess with that. It could draw you that card because it is random. That could be the card it seeks, but it takes a random card out of your deck and puts it into your hand, but only once per game. But it's just weird to me that it's Black Dragon Gate and Gate of the Black Dragon, and it's the same art, and they're totally different.
Like, this is what happens when you let people who code come up with stuff, and they're like, it is a different name, and everyone who has ever interacted with a human being is knowing in their heart of hearts that I no longer know what these 2 cards do or what these words mean.
The one that more so than anything else is the cards with Specialize. I've got to talk about this. People in chat yesterday were saying like this feels like a mechanic created by programmers, not game designers, right? And no hate to the team that came up with it. I found Specialize very difficult to get a handle around, partly because the tooltip for it didn't show up properly right away. So that's a UI or UX? That's one of those problems.
I've played one game of this format, and I also couldn't figure out how to make Specialized work.
So Specialized. Let's look at a fairly straightforward one like Jaheira. Let's look at Jaheira.
I've seen these cards. They reminded me of level up cards, only you can choose a direction.
Kinda. They're like a 6-sided card.
Okay.
Okay. So Jaheira is 1 and a green for a 2/3 with hexproof from hexproof from artifacts and enchantments, and then Specialize for 2. So what Specialize means is you can activate this ability only at sorcery speed, and you discard either a card of a certain color or a basic land that generates that color, and then this card perpetually, like for the rest of the game, turns into one of 5 other copies, each
associated with the color.
Each associated with one of those colors that does something. Okay. And they all, each of the options, when you start reading them, each of the options is very similar in that it generally does one thing the same across all of them, and then depending on the color, there's a little tweak. So, Jaheira, if you pay 2 for Specialize, again at sorcery speed, because we played against an opponent that definitely thought it was an instant, and discard a green card or a forest. Then she specializes from Jaheira Harper Emissary into... I don't remember any of these names. You're going to have to... no, that's the black one.
I mean, that one's green.
But it works.
That's true. You can turn into the... No, you can't. This has to be the black.
Should be a
you have to
double green
discard
one, right?
the black one. You have to discard a black card or a swamp to get this one. There's one where her mana cost has double green pips. That's the only one you can transform
Talk
Jaheira
to me
into.
about this mana cost. Like, it's just for show, right?
No, because it perpetually turns into that card. So if it gets returned to your hand,
Okay.
Oh, you
that's
can cast it
you can
again.
cast it again for the
But
new mana
Specialized
cost.
doesn't, like, return her to your hand
Nope.
transformer. Like, she'll just change
Yeah.
her casting cost on the battlefield.
So now I'm confused because I thought that if you discarded a green card or a black card, you got to choose this one.
No,
But
I
then,
thought so too, but that's not what Arena lets you do.
I swear that I'm so confused then. Because, so here's the green one.
Yeah, so it's one. So Jaheira Merciful Harper, 1 green. So it turns from a 2/3 into a 3/4. When this creature specializes, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment, and that line of text is true across all of Jaheira's specializations. And then the green one, you gain 4 life. So the other options are Ruthless Harper, which is black. So it's a 3/4 again. Destroy an artifact or enchantment. Each opponent loses 3 life. Or Stirring Harper, which is the red one. Again, a 3/4. They don't always have the same power and toughness. Destroy an artifact or enchantment. You get a boon, more on that in a moment, with when you cast your next creature spell, it perpetually gains +1/+0 in haste. The blue one, Insightful Harper, 3/4, destroy an artifact or enchantment, scry 2. This is a bonus little scry 2. And then the white one, which I think is the best one, destroy an artifact or enchantment, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 other target creatures. So, yeah, from playing with it, when you activate Specialize, it's like, cool, which one do you want to do? And it only gives you the options. Like, I thought, as you did, James, I thought that it's like, okay, well, I'm in a green deck, so I can pick any one of these as long as I pitch a green card or a forest, and it's no, you can only do
do what's missing.
Yeah, it's super unclear. And the problem in draft is it's like you've got 6 cards to read to find out if this card is worth picking.
Yeah.
Right.
It's you don't have a lot of time.
Like, I don't hate these, but they're yeah. This is the kind of card I would have designed when I was 14.
It's just
Right? And
I get it. It's not as bad as I initially thought. It's not elegant.
No.
It's really so much. It's
Yeah.
just so much.
I honestly kind of like these, but this feels like it's just made the game worse in some way.
Yeah. Like it's weird also. So Jaheira is one of the most straightforward in that, like, all of her specializations have the same power and toughness, and they all do when it specializes, destroy an artifact or enchantment and something else depending on the color. Right? But can we see Rasad? RASAD? I think it might be 2 RASAAD, I think. So it's Rasad. I don't recall what his epithet is. Monk of Selene. So 2 and a white for a 2/2 human monk, specialize 5. When Rasad enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls until this creature leaves the battlefield. So it's a banisher priest, basically. Right. So Rasad's white specialization is, I know this is a challenge for you, James, is Rasad Radiant Monk. So turns into a 4/4. When this creature specializes, target creature card exiled with this creature perpetually loses all abilities and has base power and toughness 1/1. Right? Because that creature's still exiled with Rasad.
Right.
What I don't know is what happens if you kill or bounce this now specialized Rasad. Because it's a different card that no longer has that ability.
I can answer that.
Please do.
So it's still, even though it doesn't have the ability listed on the card, it still knows that it's the card that exiled that other creature.
But it has a different name. And it doesn't have that ability anymore.
Right, but imagine, say you have Rasad, or say you have Banisher Priest.
Okay.
and then you target it with True Polymorph.
Okay.
And you turn it into a Shannon and Dryads.
Sure.
Now your Banisher Priest doesn't say put the creature back. It just says Forest Walk.
Right.
But then if I Lightning Bolt your Shannon and Dryads, what happens to the exiled creature?
I don't know.
It goes back.
Okay.
They go back. Because the triggered ability on 3 mana Rasad and Banisher Priest is just like inherent game rules that you can't really do anything about. It's not an ability. It's just like there's probably a right name for it in the rules that I've read before and I forget, but it's like the card has memory. Like it's just a fact of the card that when that leaves the battlefield, the other creature's going to come back in. It's part of the resolution of that first triggered ability. It has like lasting effects.
Okay, so I appreciate that. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Also, pro tip, because this happened, we were playing the Rasad, and our opponent found out that Minimus Containment does not work in the way that they want it to work.
So if you Minimus Contain Rasad, it's still on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Just like what I was talking about with Polymorph.
Yeah.
Right?
So they don't get their creature back.
No, unless you sacrifice the treasure token.
Yeah.
Then they would. Yeah.
So, but what bugs me about Rasad is that is the only specialization that does anything or cares at all about the exiled creature.
Oh.
All the other ones are totally different.
Huh.
So one of them is the blue one. He turns into a 4/4 that when he dies, you make 2 1/1 flyers.
Okay.
What are the other ones? Warrior Monk, when he dies, you get 3 soldiers.
Oh, they're not flying, right?
Yeah. Sylvan Monk, it's a 2/2. When he dies, you make a boar. And then the black one, Shadow Monk, when he dies, you make a 4/1 skeleton with menace.
Well, at least I know where the skeleton comes from.
But
the boar showed up because it could smell food.
Yeah, I guess so.
The soldiers are there to bury their dead.
Yeah.
And the 2/1/1
the fairy dragons were
laughing
on
about
a date.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. They heard his cries and came and investigated. It's like, oh, a dead human.
Yeah.
But there are some that are completely, utterly different. I don't even know the name of this one. Our opponent played it against us. It's a green mythic with Specialize that, unlike just having like a filter over the art, actually has like 5 completely different arts. And the cards do totally different stuff. Right? And so it's just, it's so much. It is a complexity increase that is so much. Lucamina Moon Druid. Here you go. 2 and a green for a 2/2 with Wild Shape.
Oh.
So Specialize 3. Activate only if you control 6 or more lands. And when Lucamina enters the battlefield, if you cast it, seek a land card with a basic land type. So she's going to help you get to it.
What Wild Shape does. Wild Shape turns you into a 1/1 or a 1/4 or a 2/2.
Right, because they used Wild Shape on a different
card.
card.
Wild Shape is a magic card already.
Wild Shape's also
in the set.
In the set.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I know. So Lucamina can turn into Lucamina Scorpion form, which is a 4/4 with Death Touch that has to be blocked. Also, all of her abilities do say, when Lucamina dies, it unspecializes.
Oh.
If it unspecializes this way, return it to the battlefield tapped. So you get it. She just turns back into Lucamina and returns to play.
So they did have an art budget for this set, and they just spent it all on this one card.
I guess there's a couple that do this. Bear form, 4/4 with trample. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 and trample.
Like, I kind of like this.
It's cool.
This card seems
this card's amazing. It's very powerful. It's just like so much. Wolf form, 4/4 menace, specializes or attacks. Make a 2/2 wolf. Crocodile form. 4/4. When it specializes, tap target non-land permanent and opponent controls. That permanent doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control Lucamina Crocodile form.
Ah, classic crocodile ability.
Yeah. And then Hawk form, also a 4/4 with flying and lifelink.
Okay.
So again, very, very powerful. Super cool card. It's just so much.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's just so much. Luckily, there's my new favorite removal spell. Patrikar's Humiliation. Adam and I drafted a real banger of a deck on stream yesterday. It was mono white. We had 4 of these. Sorry, Patriarch's Humiliation. So it's single white mana instant. It deals damage to the creature equal to the number of creatures you control. That's not a new thing, but more importantly, target creature perpetually loses all abilities. That's huge. Not as huge as the dragon our opponent played. So there's a 4/3. I don't recall the name of it. There's a 4/3 dragon that when it dies, you get to search your library for a dragon. There's this other dragon that's a mythic that's called, I don't know what it's called. It's like Devastator Dragon or something. It's 14 generic mana and 1 green to play this. It's like a 10/9 with flying and trample. It's enormous. You can only play it... No. It gets cost reduced equal to the power of other dragons you control.
Okay.
And it has this other ability that for 2 and a green, you can get it back from your graveyard in some way. So we just trade off for this 4/3. They go searching for this thing. Then they play Monster Manual, which is an artifact that has the Elvish Piper ability. So for 1 and a green and tap it, you just put a creature into play.
Right.
So they just slam it into play. And we're staring at this with our like mono white weenie deck, being like, how are we ever going to defeat this dragon? Because we have like a guiding bolt, which is like destroy a creature with power 4 or greater, but then they just get it back from their graveyard and put it back into play with Monster Manual again. Oh wait, Patriarch's Humiliation. It loses all those abilities.
Right.
Then we
The
kill it,
graveyard building.
and it's gone forever. It's just this 10 power plank sitting in their bin. Right? Patriarch's Humiliation is amazing because a lot of the cards in this set are stupid and have ridiculous powers.
They still 3-for-1'd you with that first dragon.
Oh yeah,
But yeah.
they did definitely.
But
But
listen, you can deal
yeah,
with
we had to 2-for-1 ourselves on that thing. But what are you going to do about it?
Hey, just call it cancel.
Basically, that deck, by the way, we had no one else was in white. We had 6 copies of Priest of Forgotten Lore from AFR.
Ooh.
3 copies of a new card that's a Tiefling 3/3 for 3 and a white that has the protection fighting style, Icewind Stalwart. So when it enters the battlefield, you can flicker a non-warrior creature you
sick.
control. Yeah. So 6 of the priests, 3 of these things, 3 or 4 of the Steadfast Paladin, the 2/2 with lifelink from AFR, and 4 copies of Patriarch's Humiliation, and most importantly, 2 copies of Ascend from Avernus, which is white X sorcery. Return to the battlefield all creatures and planeswalkers from your graveyard of mana value X or less.
Oh,
and then
for 7
and then
mana,
exile Ascend from Avernus. So we were just like this 2/2 on 2, and then it's like priest, flicker a priest. We were playing 15 lands. Priest attacking you. Don't care. Trade off. Patriarch's Humiliation your bomb. Priest. Ascend from Avernus. Put 8 creatures back into play. Also, we draw 2 cards and gain 2 life. Also, we blink those creatures again with these Icewind Stalwarts. It was
that sounds awesome.
It was super silly and great. You should check out the VOD for that if you haven't seen it already. It was one of the best. That's a Hall of Famer, James. That's up there with the Charging Badger. That's like an LRR MTG all-timer, the deck we drafted yesterday. It was amazing.
Did you mill out?
No, we were like, could we mill out? Are we in danger of this? But no, because our opponents just died before that would happen, or conceded in a couple instances. Sometimes Adam was annoyed that they conceded before we got to cast the Ascent from Avernus. But this card, by the way, is sweet. So I haven't actually talked about just sort of like a general thing on the set as a whole. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing: I don't play Alchemy. I don't much care for it. It's not for me. We've talked about it on the podcast before. I don't really play Constructed. I don't really care about Alchemy. I didn't enjoy the like Alchemy queue of the New Capenna thing, but I think a lot of that is just because I didn't really like New Capenna Limited or whatever. And I've complained a lot about the complexity of certain cards in this set. This has been fun. This format's been fun because thought was put into how it would draft. And it's powerful. Like, it's a high power draft format, and there are some stupid bombs, but it's actually been fun. Like, I don't know. Adam played a bunch of it on his home stream. We played a bunch of it on Thursday. James and I played on the early access event on Tuesday. What did you make of it, James?
I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, You're right that there's a lot of reading.
It's a lot of reading.
This card, for me, was the standout, which is the Wand of Orcus.
Yeah.
Good lord.
2 and a black, legendary artifact equipment. Whenever an equipped creature attacks or blocks, it and zombies you control gain death touch until end of turn. So that's just kind of neat. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create that many 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. And it equips for 3. How many zombies did you make?
A lot. Honestly, just this on Owlbear was just unreal because it just had trample, death touch.
Yeah.
Every time. It was unreal. This card seems completely bonkers.
Yeah.
Never, ever print this in paper, please. Did you see Wilson?
This one could print in paper. Yeah, Wilson.
It's true?
Yeah.
You saw Wilson?
My boy Wilson.
What did they do
Yeah.
to Wilson? They
Comrade
gave him-
Wilson.
Okay, they gave him Specialized, but
So
and Ward. Does he have hexproof on paper?
he's
or-
got Ward on paper.
Oh, he's got Word on paper.
I think.
too. Okay, so
I'm pretty sure. Sorry?
They
What?
just add Specialized?
I think so. What's Wilson's paper printing look like, James? Sorry.
Bear Comrade.
Bear
That's
Comrade.
incredible.
Yeah.
Refined grizzly. Oh, right. Can't be countered and vigilance.
Right.
And choose
Right.
a background.
Okay, but does have Ward. So
But
yeah.
yeah, trample.
No
Ward,
vigilance, which I definitely
Right.
thought he had vigilance, but no,
but still reach trample. Yeah,
Yeah.
he does have vigilance. That's the thing, right?
on paper, but
Yeah.
not Wilson Bear Comrade. Yeah, specialized for 4, but yeah, Wilson turns into a bunch of cool stuff. The black one, so it always has reach and trample, which is kind of funny, and you'll find out why in a moment. The black
have
one,
flying, too.
the black one gains menace, and then they all have this ability, which is exile Wilson from your graveyard, and target creature you control perpetually gains whichever
Okay.
whichever
Keyword again.
color pie ability shows up, activate as a sorcery. So then if we look at the green one, it's just reach and trample, but big.
Okay.
So it's a 5/5, and then you exile it, and the creature gets +1/+1 and reach and trample and ward 2. So it gets all the other Wilson stuff. The red one, double strike, reach and trample, and then a 2/3. So again, all the powers and toughnesses are different. The blue one can't be blocked, so trample's super useful here.
Right,
That's the
yeah.
one I thought was really funny.
Right.
But exile it, and the creature perpetually gains can't be blocked. And then the white one is reach, trample, and lifelink, and then the creature can get lifelink if you exile it from. And that one's a 3/4.
Some different stats, right?
I do enjoy how his drink changes color. His
Yeah.
potion. I think that's a cute detail.
I wonder if they told the artists that this was going to happen, or if
They must have.
someone in the Wizards graphics department just like went in and messed with all the color values.
I disagree that they must have.
Yeah.
They may have.
They may have, but I sincerely don't necessarily think that they did tell the artists.
Yeah,
This seems
I
like
guess-
something that they might not have done. Because I feel like this idea maybe happened late in the process. I don't know. I don't know. Specialize. I'm medium on Specialized, but I'm higher on this format than I thought I would be. Again, it's not like worth it to me to like really grind on it hard because you're getting packs of Alchemy and I don't play it and don't particularly care about it. But as a standalone draft format, it's pretty fun. And I might dust off the old Magic Online login to do a round of Double Masters at some point, but this has the advantage of it's on Arena.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some gems sitting around.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'll give it a look.
Yeah. It's not bad. You can do sealed as well.
Okay.
For the it's all regular prices, right? So it's 2,000 gems for a sealed or 1,500 gems / 10,000 gold for a premier draft. And I think it's going to be on quick draft in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
I mean, if it's enjoyable, that's kind of what I'm looking for out of my Magic experiences.
I haven't played a lot of it, but I've enjoyed it more than I enjoyed New Capenna. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
You said earlier that the choice to have new card names that are kind of similar with the same art but new abilities, or at least some new abilities, was odd. And I want to jump
Yeah.
in with my own opinion about that.
Please.
Instead of saying odd, I would say I don't know, laughably cheap, maybe,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I mean, in the scope of Magic the Gathering design decisions, perhaps tragic, embarrassing.
Yeah.
These are all, I think, fair.
I think so too. I think like the I suppose the counterpoint, which is maybe not the like defense that someone might think it is, but this is what I would imagine, is that so few people have actually played Commander Legends in paper and will play Commander Legends in paper that a vast greater majority of people are going to be playing this online and just will not know what the printed paper cards are, and so there won't be that point of confusion. But I find it very, because there are a lot of cards, even if you don't play Commander Legends the draft format, there's a lot of singles out there that are relevant for Commander, and
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's bad. I think it's actively bad to have cards with not the same name but a similar name but exactly the same art
Yeah.
that exist digitally and in paper, in a way that's different from like the alchemy stuff. In a way that's like
Yes.
it's. I don't know.
I
don't like
actively dislike it.
Yeah, it's very weird to me.
No, this is going to lead to some tragic misplays on
Yeah.
my part. But maybe I will like that more because it won't be my fault,
Yep.
right?
You can definitely blame the devs on this one, right?
Absolutely. It's like, sorry, that card does something different. Where are we? In paper. Okay, yeah, it does something different online.
Yeah.
This is not my fault. This is not my fault.
Like, I miss the world before. Alchemy has brought us these gifts, right? It's brought you, like, hey, you just put a letter in front of the card, and now it does something different. It's rebalanced, but the art's the same, and then the card name is the same, and now it brings us, like, hey, the card name has been changed a little bit, but the art's the same. Like,
Yeah, it's
we heard you like Yu-Gi-Oh!, so we decided to make, like, 16 copies of Pokemon or whatever.
It honestly kind of reminds me of
Pikachu,
the job where I had to change my login password every 40 days or something. And so you would just change the order of the words.
Also, weren't there like
And then forget.
weren't there like some day one rebalancing changes for the set that like isn't there like Minsk and Boo on Arena in the Baldur's Gate Horizons or Alchemy Horizons, and then already there's an Arena rebalance changed version of it?
So I'm looking at Minsk and Boo, and it's showing me 2 versions.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
mean.
So yeah, this I think.
Minsk and Boo, Timeless Heroes. So 2 red green for 3 loyalty. When it enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may create Boo, a legendary 1/1 hamster. +1, put 3 counters on up to 1 target creature with trample or haste. -2, sack a creature. When you do, this is wild, by the way. Minsk and Boo is so powerful. Minsk and Boo, Timeless Heroes, deals X damage to any target where X is that creature's power. If the sacrifice creature was a hamster, draw X cards. I think that's the thing they changed, isn't it? And then this one is 1 mana more. No longer says it can be your commander. So for brawl purposes. And then, oh no, if the sacrifice creature was a hamster, you draw the card. So you only draw the cards if you sacrifice Boo specifically. When it enters the battlefield, you may create... Oh, if you don't control a creature named Boo, create Boo. The other one doesn't have that line. Am I right? The other one doesn't specify if you don't control Boo, you may create Boo.
Correct.
So yeah, so it's very video games. That there was this day one patch that already they've tweaked Minsk and Boo Timeless Heroes. Not just that ability, but also made it cost 1 mana more. And
But you can still play the other
Looks-
version in Brawl?
I don't. It looks
Yeah.
like there was the same thing with Earthquake Dragon.
that's the one I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This stupid thing. So yeah, it's 14 generic and a green, 10/10, cost reduced, where X is the total mana value, of dragons you control, flying a trample, and then 2 and a green, and sack a land, return it from your graveyard to your hand.
But here's.
But
the
I
new
played
one.
against, yes, that one.
Not named Earthquake Dragon.
This one, oh yeah, where the total mana value of dragons you control not named Earthquake Dragons. You can't just chain Earthquake Dragons together. Yeah.
That's no fun.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's so wild to me that it's like this. I mean the day one patch or day one rebalance seems weird. It seems like you should just be like, well, hang on. If that's what you wanted to change, just make it that.
Just release it like
It's
that.
day one. Just change it to that rather than being like, here's the thing. Also, this immediate rebalance on the same day when it's like it's not like the other card exists in paper anywhere else. It doesn't exist anywhere else. Just change it. Why not just change it? I don't know.
Yeah, this feels like a mess.
It does actually. It's fun to play.
Yeah.
It is legitimately an enjoyable thing to play in the sealeds and drafts that I've done. But it does also feel like a mess. It's very inelegant in a way that I'm not used to experiencing.
Yeah, like there's already an avalanche of product to keep up with, and then rebalancing and alchemy adding on top of it a layer of more different confusion
Yeah.
Makes me kind of just go static, like Snow Crash.
Right, yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah.
I'm just like, it feels like every card now is the full art cryptic command, where you could just tell me anything's happening and I'll just say
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, this card does this. Okay.
Yeah, okay. That seems entirely plausible.
I said my piece about really not liking how they're redoing the arts and similar name and like sort of like getting this second set of value out of the cards that they made for Commander Legends. I was unaware that like not a lot of people are playing Commander Legends draft. I thought that product was going to be wildly popular because it reaches both draft players and Commander players, but maybe I'm a weird exception as someone who like mostly plays draft and likes 1v1.
See, I love draft and Commander, so it's like I think it's great for me, but I as I understand it, the thing is, like, the way people talk online and what is true in the LGS is often not the same thing. But I am under the impression that Commander Legends has not been well received, and I don't really know why. But I don't know. But it's a limited print run set, isn't it? And so it's that means it's expensive to draft.
I mean, it's not though.
Not as expensive as Double Master.
Well, I think that was a big part is that it came after New Capenna, which nobody was hyped for, which always kills the momentum for whatever's coming next. Plus, we had Double Masters, which everybody was hyped for, coming weeks after.
Yeah.
So I think it just got kind of. I mean, this is a danger of the amount of product they're releasing, where some things are going to suffer because of it, and I think Commander Legends was absolutely one of those things this year.
Yeah.
Like, I think at the end of the year, a lot of people who are going to be doing like wrap-up videos and like, let's talk about all the things Magic this year, a lot of people are probably going to forget that this set even existed.
It's too bad. I thought Commander Legends, the experience of drafting and playing it was super fun. I hope we get to do it again. Maybe.
Yeah, I want to.
Next month on
I didn't get to. I really want to. Yeah.
So yeah, I had two other things I wanted to sneak in about that. So yeah, really, really sad that they're doing what they're doing with Alchemy. Although I guess I do like the idea that they're trying to bring Commander Legends to Arena, because Commander Legends was a sweet set. I don't know that they've done that, but hey, maybe this format is fun. I will try to play it. Along with that, it's like we've learned, hey, and maybe that not everyone was feeling this, but I had just recently been missing drafting AFR anyway. I just had a lot of fun with that set last summer, and it's sort of back. Like, it's different. Obviously, there's enough new cards that it doesn't just feel like AFR with like some sesame seeds on top. It's different AFR.
The Battlecry Goblin is in this set, but the set does not seem initially to have the if you're not in red-black, you're doing it wrong problem.
I didn't see a Deadly Dispute in my one draft, so I don't know if that
there is Deadly Dispute.
There isn't? Okay, fair enough. But the Threaten costs 4 instead of 3.
Yes.
So that matters. Although it's a cool Threaten, it makes their creature attack again.
It's an interesting
if
threat.
it survives. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to very much feel different, like new, different AFR, and I'm fine with that, honestly. And if in the future they want to do things like, hey, we're taking an old draft format and we're remastering it, but we're going to put new cards in that we made, I think that is totally fine. Like if they wanted to be like, Amonkhet 3, it's like 200 of the cards from Amonkhet, but then we changed a bunch of other ones and we added a bunch of new ones and like we got some new art. I don't like the reuse of old art at all, or like the reuse of characters or like cards that are almost half of another card. I really don't like that. I don't want you to give me Sun Titan, but it costs 5 and it's a 4/4 and it brings back 2 drops or whatever. Like, please don't do that. I don't like it. As you said earlier, it's confusing. But the other thing we learned is that like, yeah, there's like more space for these like Hearthstone and whatever, you know, like Legends of Runeterra digital only cards, and the Arena devs want to design them, and they're doing a decent job of them, and they can make fun cards.
Yeah.
So they should be given probably at least one draft format to make a year, and I don't think they need to be like pinned into designing a set that fits perfectly into like some product that wasn't going to make it to Arena anyway. Like that, they should probably be, if this format's fun, then the Arena devs should get to, and whoever worked on this project should get to take responsibility or, you know, claim
A little credit.
the credit. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Take credit for that and get to do like their own set without these weird constraints of like, you've got to make Wilson cards that are kind of like Wilson, but it's not the same, you know?
Yeah. Like I feel that there is space in the game for Alchemy.
Yeah, sure.
I just don't like it right now.
Yeah, no, I still don't feel any better about Alchemy, but this is different. This is like, it's called an Alchemy product, but they're letting us draft it for the first time. We haven't drafted Alchemy before, so it really like, even though it's called Alchemy, it's also like arena only draft format, right? Like
Right.
that, they're just calling Alchemy draft, and like it doesn't even necessarily need to be related to Alchemy. Like they could be making weird alternate powered cube on arena or something, right? Like they could be making like second version of the Moxas that you can only have in some Phantom draft where they cost 1 mana, and then they like make up some new abilities, and like they have a whole set of like arena only cards that are just for this Phantom draft format. And like that I feel like is the same, it's the same skills working on the same kind of project that just created Baldur's Gate Alchemy, but everyone would be, at least I think in this room, everyone would be more stoked to go do it.
Yeah.
Right? Like there wouldn't be as much resistance if it was like made up arena only set with made up arena only mechanics and new art. It's weird because it seems like they have the art budget. Like they can get art, right? Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I wanna acknowledge the success of this set, like the success of this project, while also acknowledging the obvious failures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think this is new information that Wizards is notorious at being, frankly, cheap in paying for labor. So,
Sure.
Yeah, this is not you. You didn't hear it first from us. So,
Right.
Yeah. I just quickly want to close a loop I opened earlier because I said that I mentioned what a boon was.
Oh, right.
That's not a new thing. That's just it's a flavor word in the same way of like wild shape or protection fighting style for a delayed trigger. These are not. This is not a new thing to Magic. It just means the next time that you would do X thing that the delayed trigger cares about, then something will happen. Okay. So there's like a 2-drop. It's like 1 and a white for a 3/1 blade. Nice. That says when this enters the battlefield, you get a boon with the next time you cast a creature spell, it perpetually gets +1/+0. So on arena, it just it just sits over at the side and waits until you cast a creature spell, and then goes, oh, delayed trigger. What's up? Here you go. That creature gets +1/+0 forever. So
In the Time Warp box zone.
Yeah, exactly, exactly that.
Yeah.
So it's just a boon is just a fun D&D word codification of what a delayed trigger is. And I don't know, maybe they'll like it. Boon, it really is a D&D word, right? Like you get boons and stuff in D&D. So like I don't know if they're going to use that outside of the Baldur's Gate set. If that's just a thing in Alchemy now that they call them a boon, or not. Because previously it would have just said when this enters the battlefield, the next time you cast a creature spell, you get +1/+0, and now it says when this enters the battlefield, you get a boon that says blah 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 blah. And I don't know if maybe that is relevant in any rules capacity.
I could see that cross-pollinating. I mean, it is a D&D word, but it's also a word outside.
And it's
that.
in the building, right? It's still
Yeah.
Wizards, so they could just say it's boons now.
I mean, it's going to be entirely flavor reasons whether they keep boons around or just not refer to them, and you see the little pop up from the triggered ability.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, if you want to get yourself some of the paper versions of all those cards, or maybe some double masters, or just buy yourself some singles, you can head over to our sponsor, Card Kingdom. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. That lets them know that we sent you, and we appreciate that. And I forgot to mention the button at the top of the show. Are we still on Weird Tap But Okay? No, we're on something else now, aren't we?
We were on In Response to Damage I Concede for a while. We might still be on that.
I think that's where we're at then, yeah. So you can ask them, say, loading ready run sent me, button please, and they'll give you a little one-ish button that says a funny thing, which right now is, In Response to Damage I Concede, which I think you're allowed to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't usually respond to damage, actually, anymore.
Before Damage I Concede,
Yeah,
I guess.
before Damage I Concede.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, whatever the
You're allowed to
button says.
concede at any moment, really. So you could pretend to put damage on the stack.
What are you going to do? Get handed a game loss?
Exactly.
Good point.
Just let them try and stop you.
And of course, this show and everything we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Thanks always for listening. We really appreciate it. Until next time, I've been Graham, joined by Cameron. And Nelson.
Was also here.
And James has been running tech.
Bye.
And Heather gets these online. Thank you all so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.